it'd be great to have a conversation on that sort of basis of how the Gumpers here, how people of a certain age and demographic can enjoy what you're endeavoring to share with them. I endorse this message. I love what you're suggesting and the whole philosophy that goes alongside it. And the great thing about you, Stephen, I think, is that you have been completely committed to technology in many ways, haven't you? You love technology, but perhaps
I do. The difference with me is that I'm not a coder and I'm not an engineer, and I never was. And in fact, I am really scared of all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm a power user, especially inside the Apple ecosystem, to the point that I'm an early adopter and I will try all kinds of new softwares and usually get the newest devices. And so I keep up on that. And then I also have teaching experience, teaching adults and designing curriculum. And then I have this kind of slowiness concept. So the two of these things, all three of these things together, makes me really well suited to helping people get their digital lives in order.
Yeah.
And I do it in a calm way. I do it in a non-judgmental way. Doesn't matter where you're at with your devices. We'll see where you're at. We'll figure out what's wrong. And we will, layer by layer, we will get your digital life working for you and get you digitally calm.
Just you saying that helps. We haven't even started yet. You had me at minimalism, Stephen.
Yeah.
Says Mel, I like the move to slowiness. Love this word despite my fastiness nature. So I think Mel's really, really appreciating and understanding.
Nice. I like that.
We've got our first technology question in. This is one for me, though. I have a quick question. What is the software you're using for live streaming? It's StreamYard. How to repair. If you ever need any help with that, I'd be happy to help you get started with that. If you're doing live streaming and looking for this platform, maybe you use it already. I don't know. But it's not about me and my tech. It's about Stephen this morning. The other thing that's happened, well, it was happening anyway, but I think something quite profound is occurring or stepping up a gear or two. AI, since we last spoke, I think the presence, I mean, certainly in my life, and I am extrapolating and generalizing on that, but we are going into a bit of an AI maelstrom or acceleration, are we not?
I completely agree. I kind of feel like, listen, it is moving so unbelievably fast. I made a switch from one of the major platforms to one of the other major platforms, and that was a bit of a process, and now I'm fully over there. And it's absolutely incredible what it can do for you. Speaking about coding, I mean, it's literally doing things in the background that I wouldn't. If it showed me what it was actually doing, I'd probably run screaming because I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
But if you know how to leverage these tools and you can start to understand what its power is, it's remarkable. But it's also, frankly, a little bit scary.
Yes.
And so I'm in it, because I feel like if you don't jump on the bandwagon, I don't want to say you're going to be left behind and you're going to be gone, but it really is where everything's moving. And even if you're not into AI personally, it's still in your life. You just don't realize it. It's happening to you if you are plugged into the digital footprint, meaning you have your devices, you have a laptop, you have an iPad, a tablet. AI is there, and then it's also just there in our regular everyday life. Other companies are using it against you, or for you, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
So it's really ubiquitous. And when I do work with people, that is some of the work that I'm doing now. It's getting people not just with their devices and with the basic stuff, but it's also about how we can incorporate AI into their lives. Some people, for example, and this is something I do, is when I have my meetings with people, with their permission, of course, I'll record the intake call. I'm not taking any notes. There's nothing in my hands. I'm not writing anything down. And it can process everything that we talked about in a summary. It can make the proposals for me. It can do all kinds of stuff and extract out things about demographics. And it's just unbelievably powerful. And a lot of people I know are semi-retired and they're still having meetings. And so just like AI recording of meetings and what it can capture is just a great little example of how you can incorporate that into your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
For people 50 plus, especially if it's in Portuguese or it's a mix of, Portuguese and English or whatever. Ask the doctor if you can record it, and then you don't have to worry about remembering everything that they said.
Yes.
And then when you get back, you can run it through the system and
Mm.
it'll decode everything for you, and you'll feel much more relaxed when you're at the appointment.
There's so much to talk about in just that, Stephen. I think this is what's going to, I hope you'll keep coming back to the show, because this is
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, one of the things I was going to suggest is I run everything off of 5 pillars of digital health.
all right.
And so maybe over some time we could kind of capture each of these pillars and talk about them and some strategies and tips on each of them.
Oh, fantastic. So we might even get into a first pillar today. But
Sure.
we're having a little bit of a, it's that thing, isn't it? When you turn on the tap, the hose pipe in the garden, all that's been in there for a while, on my mind for sure, is it needs to come out just to establish, just to get reconnected with you
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah.
AI, I think people are being AI overwhelmed at the moment, and this is the next iteration development of how the internet changed our lives, I think. And I think it's easy for people to get scared, concerned, and anxious about this. But the what's seen as hype and concern and anxiety creating stuff, I think, is in some ways well founded, because you kind of have to do something about it, even if it's a positive choice, I think, to say, actually, I don't want it in my life. But if I would suggest that even if you take that position, like my dad did, my father never had a computer. So
Wow.
that's a defining, my kids live on computers and my dad never had one. He bought he did an impulse buy of a fax machine once, some a weird integrated phone and fax thing, because he loved the phone and he loved mobiles, but he never got into computers. He never had one. And there may be people now of a certain age who just say, look, I'm not going to adopt AI, but they're still going to be subject to it.
Exactly.
And their life will be changed by it. So even if you're choosing not, you are still, I think, in some ways going to have to prepare yourself to I don't know, moderate, attenuate how our lives will change in the grander context, because we can't sit this out, can we?
I don't think so. And I mean,
Yeah.
I certainly watched some videos and plugged in, maybe potentially a little bit more than other people. But then again, it's a spectrum. I know some people who are talking about the latest models and they run tests on them and data. And I'm not at that point, nor do I want to be honest with you. but to what you were saying is that it's, if you want to take the more like fatalist view, and I don't want to look like a conspiracy theorist because I'm not, but I mean, this is driven by big companies.
Yeah.
And they're looking to turn a profit, and they're all competing to be the one. And it is so woven into every facet of your life. There are entire businesses. You can run a solopreneur or a small business with one person that would normally, you would have to have maybe 10 people.
Yeah.
By one person using, people have heard these terms, these agents, these digital versions of humans doing specific jobs. You can have marketing agents, you can have CEO agents, you can have accounting agents. They can be running stuff in the background while your computer stays on overnight. A lot of people who are really into this stuff will get a separate computer that stays on all the time, and it's running. You may have heard of OpenClaw or something like that, where it's and it's, these things are building things in the background 24/7. You can text them from your phone and instruct them what to do and when to do it. Things can be automated. It's absolutely insane. So when you think the big companies, not just the companies who invented the AI, but companies who are employing AI, certainly there's a concern about what's going to happen to workers. But there's also this idea, and I think I may have mentioned this last time, about this human in the loop. We're still at a stage where I think it's shifting, where it's sometimes hard to tell when something was created by AI and when it was not. Videos, audios, photographs, news. Like, at what point do we get where we are not going to be able to tell when something is and is not created by AI, which is kind of scary, because then we don't really know what's what.
Well, and you don't, that's the thing, isn't it? You know when you know, but how do you know when you don't know? That's where we're at, isn't it? You may have already been duped and not known it.
Yeah. So I think we're in that phase where people talk about this phrase AI slop,
Yeah.
or hallucinating when your AI starts to act a little bit strange and tells you things that aren't true. But some people, I just watched a news report of, people who have fallen in love with AI chatbots,
Yeah.
and what it's doing psychologically.
Hmm.
Certainly kids and education, what's happening there when you can just offload critical thinking skills that need to get developed to a machine that can do it for you. I
Yeah.
mean, there's real concerns, but again, and I'm sure you've had this experience, you've experimented yourself with AI. You're probably using it to run the back end of things. It is incredible when it does something that you're like, this would have taken me hours. It does it in 30 seconds. It's kind of like a wow moment.
It really is, Stephen. I use something called Base 44 to redo my website because
Hmm.
I mean, Luddite's not the right word, but I've been very, I don't know, resistant. I used Google Sites before, and my websites don't look great, but I made them. I'm proud that I made them, and they do what I want them to do. So I was quite pleased with that, and I know that they weren't very good. Then I put the same. In fact, I did it as an experiment. I didn't really want a new website, but I thought, well, what can I try? What can I try and do with Base 44? I know I'll just reframe, redo my offer and add a bit to it as a brief for Base 44, and it created the most incredible thing in a few minutes, which I spent a few more hours tweaking. But
Sure.
what it made was extraordinary. And since then, I think that was only about 4 or 5 days ago, I feel like I've been on the most incredible journey where I think I'm tired at about 10 o'clock in the evening. And then I just open up Base 44, put a few ideas in, and I'm wide awake again until about midnight, seeing this potential. And I'm actually finding it really exciting. But I'm also aware of all the things we're talking about, the other parts of it, which, the point being, we have to address it in some way, like it's addressing us, and we have to respond in some way. And I guess that's the presence of mind that I would suggest people take on board, is that you can't just put your head in the sand or your fingers in your ears and pretend it's not happening. You kind of have to take some sort of position or have some sort of reaction which safeguards your mental health, which I suppose is life in a way, isn't it? It's just coming in the form of AI at the moment.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, the AI is the new kid on the block for
Yeah.
sure, and it is powerful. And again, the best word I can say, which I already use, is ubiquitous. It really is kind of taking
Yeah.
over everything.
Yeah.
But I also think, like you said, like life, it's the same way with the technology itself. There's a lot of people, like you were talking about your father. Um, the technology's in our life. It's really hard to not have it. You have
Mm.
to actively work against not having a phone in these
Yeah.
days, a
Yeah.
smartphone.
Yeah.
And there are people who choose that. But if you choose to be in the world and communicate and, WhatsApp and all these kinds of things, you're now already in this space. So my philosophy is like, okay, have some healthy skepticism about what it can and cannot do,
Yeah.
and also have some healthy skepticism about how much you want to make it part of your life and how much it needs to stay on the outside. Because as much as I preach and teach and coach and do strategy stuff for people in the digital world, the point is to live our lives in the analog world.
Well said, sir. Well said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not someone who sits on my computer all day. We moved to Portugal for a reason. We're
Yes.
here to experience castle towns and the coast and good food and good wine. And the devices help keep our lives, or at least they should help keep our lives organized. Where when we are with our friends and family and we're having an adventure and we're visiting some place in Portugal that we've never been before, we're using the devices as a tool,
Yeah.
as a way to support the rest of our lives, not as a point of friction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's really important about technology and the AI that's being wrapped around every kind of part of the technological world, because as I mentioned, it is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And I check this site every day. It's called Product Hunt, and it's about new products that are coming out, but they're digital products. It's very rarely is it a physical thing. Okay. It's new SaaS products, software as a service, for personal use, for business use. And I would say 95% of the things that get listed there every day is some kind of an AI tool. I mean, it is really everywhere. And in the days of like when social media came out, it was the race to who's gonna get our eyeballs. Well, Meta did a pretty good job.
Didn't they? Didn't they?
Whether you like them or not. I mean, so they bought WhatsApp for $1 billion, which was unheard of. It was the largest price ever paid at that time for a company. They bought Instagram, and so then you had Twitter, which became X, and there's everyone in the digital in the AI space is looking to be that one or two big players, because what people are using AI for at the personal level, even though they say that they're not capturing your information, you should assume that they are. I mean, if you're using AI for mental health, wellness, support, psychological support, this is where you got to kind of be paying attention to what you're telling these people.
Yes, so
you know what I mean?
All of that, and especially, I mean, what to be concerned and aware of. But the great thing for me, the wonderful possibility of AI, the upside, is that it does make us ask those questions like, what is my life about? What is life generally about? We're getting the chance to ask those questions and reestablish priorities. And having asked that question, what am I here for? What am I meant to do? You've then got your own baseline or reference point, haven't you, to say, how can this serve me? Because arguably, if you don't have that baseline reference point, you will get overwhelmed and you'll just be moved along on the wave of it and drown in the wave rather than surf it, to use that well-worn cliche.
And what I mean, that you're talking about, like, philosophical things, ask
absolutely.
it, and that's cool. But what I usually suggest to clients is pick an area of your life that is problematic for you, that's digitally been a friction point, or something where you're like, you either pay someone to do something and you would like to maybe not pay, or you'd like to figure out how to do it on your own. So let's use the example of your financial portfolio. That's a big thing for people who are moving into retired or are already retired. They're watching their numbers all the time. And you might have a wealth manager, but maybe you want to get a little bit more active in it. You want to take a little bit more ownership. This is a perfect thing to play with AI, and not to get rid of your wealth manager right away, but start to do some stuff on your own and see if it matches what's happening to your portfolio, kind of run like a parallel thing. So you can start to trust the AI and see what it's doing. Where you're not going to break something or hurt yourself financially. So that's one suggestion that I have people do. And then other things, I'm like, think of something in your life that you think is impossible inside of your digital world. Like, I wish I could do X, Y, or Z. I wish I could have this combined, or these things talking to each other, or I find myself sitting down to my computer and doing the same thing over and over again, and it's wasting my time. And I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but you don't know how to do it. Ask AI. But you always, as you know, you have to ask AI we're moving slightly away from the world of prompting. They used to, just 2 years ago, they were paying people mid six figures to do what's called a prompt engineer. And that's starting to fade away because the AI is doing better with normal language. But it still needs to know it needs to know some context about you and what your goals are. You can't just ask some open-ended question. The more it knows, the more it can help you. So if you just said about your portfolio, how can I make more money? It's not going to help you. If you said, here's some of my statements, I'm going to upload them. If you choose to do that, Some
Yeah,
people may not want to for privacy reasons. But you say something like, here's my situation. Here are my numbers. I'm just going to tell you some rough numbers. Here's my timeline. Give it some background information, and you might be surprised at what it can do.
Oh yeah,
And
and
so,
you'll learn in the process. That's the other thing that's going on there, isn't it? Is that you'll not only get the information you want, but you'll get better at knowing what sort of information to put in to get the result you want ultimately as well.
right. And it's this kind of cumulative approach where if you are shy about AI, don't start with some giant project that could hurt you in some way. Start small and test it against things that are already happening in your life and run them in parallel and see if it's doing it better and faster.
Yeah, amazing. This has become the AI special, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I would love it if you'd come back and we do those pillars one at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Going back to the idea of it helps us to understand what life is about. I didn't mean actually asking AI that. I think the proposition of AI is putting humanity in that situation. It's like, we had the Industrial Revolution, didn't we, where machines could do more than humans could.
Right.
And now I think we've got the intellectual equivalent of that, haven't we? We've got something that can think much faster and deeper and bigger than we can. So in a way that the tractor replaced a handful of people, the same thing is happening on an intellectual basis, I think, which to me begs the question, well, what are we here for? And you can ask AI that, and that will be a use case. But I think that's a position, or that's a possibility for us as human beings now to reconsider what we're about. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, and one of the things that you didn't find out about me that actually dovetails perfectly to what you just said, is I have a master's degree in recreation.
You do?
I do. And so it's called a master's of science in recreation, park, and tourism administration. And the focus that I had was outdoor recreation and adventure leadership. So what I tell people is I used to get paid to be outside with other people and experience the beauty and awe of nature in a safe way.
Fantastic.
Now, to what you said, I believe, and this connects to the slowiness that we started the conversation with, as much as the digital world and technology is part of my life, it's a tool. It's a tool. What I value the most is being out in nature, not being on my devices or having my devices augment, like capturing. I like to do photography, so I use my phone. And that is a way where I can blend capturing nature when I'm there, using the phone to do that, being able to share it with other people. I mean, it's a nice blend of the two things. But to answer those questions of what are we here for, we are here to be human, not to be cyborgs. That's my personal belief, right?
Agreed. Well said. Well said. Absolutely. Yeah, incredible. And what a great, it's as though we need that right now as well. Like we've lost our way a little bit collectively. Some things aren't working terribly well. So it's a great time for AI to give us that gift of like, well, what are we really here to do?
Yeah, but the thing is I feel like AI, and we really are talking about this, you should experiment with it. I would suggest that. But where I'm coming upstream from that, because I think the AI stuff is more downstream. I'm really coming upstream with like, what's going on with your devices? What are the friction points? Are you having trouble with your passwords? Are you concerned about security? Does your email have, thousands of emails and you're using it as a storage system rather than just an email processing? Do you understand how the cloud works? Are things backed up? Do you have a legacy plan? These are the kinds of things that I'm helping people with. And then we can layer in the AI once we kind of deal with the foundational work. Yeah,
very good. Very good. Which brings us very nicely back to what you do and our continuing conversation. On that note, before we conclude today, Mel says, I wish I had the money to pay someone to clear out everything on my computer and leave me with the bare bones, non-trackable, high privacy essentials. That's pretty much what you do, isn't it, in many ways?
Yes, except of course, it's a service that I charge money for.
No, of course, of course. But before someone says, I wish I had the money, they need to know what that service costs. I doubt it's extortionate, and the value from the service you offer is invaluable, isn't it? Priceless, I would have thought, to have that sort of piece.
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say, and I didn't see what their name was.
This is Mel.
Okay, is that I do offer what I call a digital health snapshot, and it's free. It's 30 minutes, and it's on my website, which you can post or it's in the show notes or whatever. And we can talk about these 5 pillars specific to you, and you get a little kind of audit report that tells you kind of what you could do, and it's a starting point, and it's something that you could probably, if you were motivated, you could do on your own. But a lot of people are like, listen, I want some help and I want some hand holding. It's kind of a high touch concierge-esque kind of a service.
Yeah.
Because it's personal. I'm not just putting a McDonald's approach to like, I'm doing the same thing for every person. I need to understand how your potentially broken system works, and we're gonna shore it up, and we're going to fix it, and we're gonna do it in a way that where I understand how you think. I'm not going to tell you how I think your file structure should be. I will give you some ideas as to how you could set up your file structure so that it works for your brain.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to force you into, this is the system I think you should use. I need to understand you and the way you think. So that's why it's more of a high touch service.
And completely understandable. And that will be at your website. That's the way to get that process started, is it? At shewach.com.
Yeah, or you can, because my last name is kind of hard to spell. It also, you can just go to digitalserenity.life, and that's literally .life is the end. It's not .com. Digitalserenity.life takes you right there to my website anyway. It's my last name, and you'll see something there that says sign up for a digital health snapshot, and that's the 30-minute. Goes to a calendar. We set it up. We'll do it remote generally. If you live along the linea, we can do it in person, but super easy to do online. Sometimes I will share my screen and show how things are set up on my end so people can kind of see where they are and where they could be. So they can get a comparison. And then, we see if we want to move forward or not, but it's a no pressure situation.
And have I got that right there? So you could go here.
Either one. They go to the same place.
Fantastic. And thank you for the product hunt tip as well. That's an amazing website, and I think everything on that list is AI based.
Yeah, you're looking at it now. Yeah.
I had a quick look at it and I put it on the screen. It's quite extraordinary. And
I'm an early adopter, right? So I'll often play with those things. So that's how I kind of keep up with things. I'll see what they're doing.
I'm going to do that.
And a lot of times it'll teach me something about how things are working, because these people are all generally leading edge on the bleeding part of what's happening.
And I think the interesting thing is what we've been talking about this morning, even if I may say so myself, is how that affects normal people, regular people, how it affects the everyday. That's such an interesting place to be at the moment, and I'm enjoying that for myself. So great question, Mel. You can work one-to-one with Stephen, but he's going to be back, and we're going to do those basics. So you're going to get a lot of value when Stephen returns, and you can do a DIY.
Yeah, I've got lots of tips and tricks we can just talk about that get the process started with you, and that help you answer some questions to understand what I call your digital footprint. And you want it to be as minimal as it can be, but as secure as it can be, and as easy to support your life so that you can go out and enjoy Portugal, because that's why you came here.
Well said. What a beautiful resolution of all we've talked about. And thank you so much. I'm so glad I got back in touch with you. And
me too.
Thank you to Josh as well for putting us together in the first place. And if I could draw people's attention to here behind me, it's a metaphor, perhaps, Stephen, for what you've just said. That's my green screen. I have 3 naughty kittens here, one of them shredded my green screen. And it's like a metaphor, isn't it? You know, you've got the digital world, but behind it, thanks to cats and children and other disruptors, you get to see what lies behind the green screen of life. So I've left it on there as a as a metaphor.
Nice. I like that.
I don't know for how much longer, but I'm finding it quite hard to let it go. Sounds like we have the potential to turn our existing online community groups into a more organized AI-assisted business systems. That's just one possibility, isn't it? And doing what Stephen says is just try something, because two things will happen. You may or may not learn more about what you're researching, but you'll begin to see the beauty and potential of what's possible in that process. So may I kind of summarize that, Steve? It's like, get started, give it a go in the AI space and see.
Yeah, do a low stakes situation.
Yeah,
give it context.
Yeah,
and then you'll increase your likelihood of having a good experience.
Yeah,
which will make you try it again with something maybe that's a little bit more serious in your life.
Yeah,
and you will. I don't want to say that I would never say trust it blindly to anyone.
Yes.
I don't trust it blindly. It does make mistakes. There's, as I mentioned, the human in the loop is you.
Yes.
And you've got to keep yourself there. Don't just farm everything out to it and expect it to run your life perfectly, because it can't. From a business perspective, we are getting close, actually, for business things, but for your personal life, keep it in check.
Yeah, and you are a magnificent human in the loop. Remember that. That's important to know, isn't it? And I think the times we're living in, it's important to remember that, and it can help us be greater as humans rather than feel overwhelmed and undermined by what's going on technologically. Stephen, so great to welcome you back. You're an absolute legend.
Thank you.
Look forward to the next one. Nice to grab.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We'll see you and everyone else soon. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. See ya.
Bom dia.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to